I have some news out of South Dakota that you're not going to hear anywhere else. I hope that you will listen because I think it's important, and it is in regards to a healthcare crisis and a company you've probably never heard of, Redmayne.
If you're on social services in South Dakota, strap in because we're about to tell you all about why your problems exist. It's Redmayne.
The short version is this. There's politicians on the right that didn't want to see Medicaid expanded. Medicaid was expanded, but Republicans are in charge, so they have deliberately put people in charge of the department that don't want to see people get on Medicaid. They want those numbers to stay low.
Statistics. They are rigging it for statistics.
At about the same time, they contracted with a company called Redmayne, which is going to be the new software used for data entry to apply for Medicaid. The problem is that this software is not working. It's not allowing people to actually become enrolled in Medicaid. It isn't even getting the applications processed.
An antiquated website in 2024. It's evil. It's sinister. It's lazy.
All of the caseworkers in the state of South Dakota were rounded up and sent to Sioux Falls to train on this Redmayne software. And they're given these perfect mock applications and told to put into the computer simulator. They do this and everything goes fine. The thing that the caseworkers kept pushing back on with Redmayne was that most of our applications are not perfect and they weren't taught how to work with different documents and of course all the constraints Republicans have to even be eligible for Medicaid. Immediately after returning to the offices, caseworkers were now spending hours trying to put applications through that previously would only take a few minutes. They began to call customer service, and every single time they called customer service, they were just told to look at the handbook. Queues have started to fill with so many applicants that a single caseworker could never get to them all. They are being told to direct these people to apply online themselves, but what they're not telling them is that when they apply online themselves, they're not actually applying. They are applying to apply because a caseworker still has to open it and redo all the data entry on their end. As the caseworkers have become completely inundated with these cases, they have called the higher ups within DSS and asked specifically to send a trainer in because they cannot process any of these applications. They were told that they need to write in detail why they think that they need more training to justify spending taxpayer money on it.
Why are employees having to write a letter to explain why they need training? What? They're feeding UBS. The state is feeding UBS. They are purposely keeping their caseworkers untrained and letting you starve.
They have been told by DSS to not advertise to people that they might be eligible for Medicaid. They don't want people to know that they qualify under the expansion.
Medicaid, child support, SNAP, they are deliberately not doing anything for us to keep the numbers low for personal gain.
They have also been directed to no longer send mail or correspondence letting people that are already on Medicaid know it is expiring and that they need to renew, deliberately trying to keep people off of Medicaid.
Oh, all right, so they're purposely letting your shit lapse without letting you know. Cool.
The way that the program is set up, it's specifically impacting pregnant women and children because adding new family members in pregnancy for whatever reason is really hard. So the only way you can get on Medicaid if you're pregnant or have children is if you are actively seeking a child support order through the court system, even if your partner's abusive.
How is this legal? How is this legal?
Because people don't know that they're supposed to apply, and because people don't know that their benefits have expired, they're showing up to doctor's offices, and the doctor's offices have gotten so frustrated with this that they actually went and spoke to the legislator about it. So now these doctor's offices are actually doing the function of our government.
You've been to a doctor's office lately? Because I have. That shit is hood. Our physicians are just as tired of this shit as we are.
And to make matters worse, to show you how circular this whole thing is, the phone lines are ringing off the hook with patients calling caseworkers saying, we cannot see a doctor, we do not have coverage, what should I do? They called the higher ups through DSS and they have instructed caseworkers to tell patients that don't have Medicaid or any coverage at all to just show up at the ER or to see a doctor anyway, even if they cannot afford it.
Great advice. Great advice. So just go spend exorbitant amounts of money that you don't have at an ER.
In order to understand this, it's first important to understand in South Dakota that the entire DSS system is trying to be dismantled.
I smell shit.
Remember, I told you that Republicans want to report low enrollment. They didn't want Medicaid to begin with, and so what they're trying to do is report low enrollment in order to defund and ruin it. So it all started when expanding Medicaid became a ballot initiative in the state of South Dakota. On the ballot, and it passes, and the Republicans and lobbyists are pissed because people have health care, I guess. I understand that like the right to work, the going after people to get child support, and all of these things are meant to make Medicaid look bad and to keep people off of it, but it all comes from like the same lobby that wants to keep people off of healthcare. So to see the whole Redmayne connection, I want to look what states were also very red, that were also trying to put a work mandate out, that were also trying to, keep single parents from accessing healthcare without a child support order. and also implemented Red Main. Well, let's just take a look at Missouri. According to Red Main's website, they got the contract with Missouri for Medicaid, and they're going to process 10,000 applications per month. But then Missouri Medicaid application delays exceed federal limits for third straight month. We then learn that limit is 45 days. Told you that'd be relevant. We then learn that Georgia is the only state doing worse than Missouri. Who has Georgia's contract? Red Main. We then learned that Georgia, that passed the work mandate, only enrolled a little over 1,300 people in 3 months. The mandate is going to cost taxpayers $122 million. And then they're going to post articles like this one. You see what they did here? Pace of Medicaid enrollment remains lower than expected. They go on to say fewer people are signing up. Not true, they can't.
Red states, just as I thought, back with thugs.